everybody, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm very excited to chat about the concept behind today's book. It's one that I feel very strongly about and really agree with. And I think sometimes the most useful books or impactful books often have ideas that aren't completely surprising, but they make sense, and it kind of feels like hearing something you've heard before and it just clicking immediately. And I really like the feeling of that. So today's book is called The Compound Effect. And basically, the premise of it is that success doesn't happen in huge doses from one action alone. It's small actions added up over time that contributes to success. And so that's the upside and the downside of the compound effect, is that it's easy and that it's little bits added up. It's challenging though, because it takes sustained action and time before you see the results. And the author is Darren Hardy. He is an advisor and a keynote speaker, and he was previously the publisher of Success magazine, whereby he interviewed loads of successful people such as Richard Branson and Steve Jobs. So he also uses some of the things that he learned during interviews like those. So I think it's really notable that he interviewed people like that and used some of that in the concepts in this book. So I really enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. One of the easiest ways to really wrap your head around the compound effect is by understanding compound interest. That is, if you save a little bit of money often over time, that will really add up, and you'll be quite surprised as to how much that adds up. And the thing about this is it's so simple to do, and at the same time, it's simple enough just to not do. It's so easy and simple that it doesn't feel that big of a deal to do, so many people don't end up doing it. And so the author says that what really makes you stand out is your commitment to success in achieving something. Being successful in any area, it isn't because of one step or one jump. It's rather reaping huge rewards from small, smart choices over time that really add up into something quite amazing. And again, this is such an interesting push and pull here, that it might bring you peace in the fact that you don't need to see huge, extreme change in day 2, 3, 4, or 5. It's okay if you don't see huge change. Keep going. That said, probably the number one reason why many people give up and stop making small, smart choices is because they don't see progress. So you have to be quite creative in how you measure progress to ensure that you keep yourself on track, but at the same time, you're realistic that real success takes time to develop. So we'll look into that a little bit more later on in the video. Next, one of the first things the author does is kind of give you as the reader and you as the listener a reality check, which I really enjoy, and I urge you to have an open mind. I think it's really important that with any self-development book or any self-development content, you kind of go into it with an open mind, because you only really cheat yourself by not being open to new ideas and new ways of thinking. So the author says that you alone are responsible for everything you do, everything you don't do, and for how you respond to anything that's done to you. And I don't think that there's anything untrue about this statement. It's easy and it feels comfortable to sometimes make excuses for things we haven't achieved, things we have done, or how we responded to things. And I understand that things happen in life that are very difficult, and it's very hard to have a mature response, or it's very hard to get up and do it again. That said, at the end of the day, the one person who is responsible for what you do, don't do, or for how you respond to things is you. So I think that's a great way to kick this off and to keep this in the forefront of your mind throughout the video, is that it's all up to you. And again, you can see this as, this is really cool, it's all in my hands and I have the choice. Or you can see this as, oh, it sucks, it's all in my hands, that's so difficult, it's all up to me. It's really, again, up to you how you choose to see that. If you see it as it being really cool that you have this sense of independence and this sense of autonomy, then I think that the compound effect will really work for you. Then the author gives us the complete formula for getting lucky, and I think this is a very interesting one because we all think of luck as somebody who's become successful seemingly overnight, and wow, they must be so lucky. And so that's like a draw for wanting to see what this formula is. However, when you see the formula, you'll see it's not that simple. And also, for a lot of people that you may have heard of or read about who seem to have been an overnight sensation or seem to have gotten rich overnight, if you read into their story or you look deeper into them, you'll realize that's almost never the case. So the author gives us what he sees as the formula for getting lucky. First, we have preparation or personal growth. This is how much you practice your skills in a certain area or sharpen your skill set or try and improve. The next is attitude or belief or mindset. This is literally how much you believe in yourself and how much you actually feel you can achieve what you want to. And then we have opportunity, and I like this because I think it's very realistic that an opportunity is something good coming your way that suits your goal, suits your skills, and is a place where you can really use that. And this can be challenging because some people may have more opportunities than others, just given their environment and the people they know. However, the more you start working on those top two, preparation and attitude, the more you'll likely be open to and aware of opportunities. And the last one is action, actually getting down and doing the work to achieve what you want to. So, again, just to recap, we have preparation, attitude, opportunity, and action. And altogether, this equals luck. Next, the author says something else that I'm a huge advocate for is that it's really hard to improve something or achieve progress in some area if you don't measure it. And I know this is daunting because some goals are inherently easier to measure than others. For example, if you have a goal of building muscles, you can take photos every 2 weeks, and then that's a way of measuring it. Other goals, like being more productive, can be more challenging to measure. So you have to be quite creative with how you measure it. The point is, don't miss out on this step because finding a way to measure your progress will really keep you on track. And it's also a vital signal as to what's working and what's not. So if you feel you're not making progress and whatever measurement you've chosen also shows this, then you just need to adjust whatever you're doing and measure after that and see if it helps. If you find you are plateauing, then it's usually just a signal that you need to make an adjustment here or there, and being able to measure something is a way that you can show yourself that. So measuring is vital, and again, in my coaching sessions, we really zone in on this and we make sure that for each of your goals, no matter how hard it might seem to measure, we find a way to measure it, and that's a super way to keep you on track. And just a little sneak peek or a tip on how to do this: if you have set a goal for yourself that is challenging to measure and you're really stuck and you're trying to think creatively on how to measure it and you can't get there, just think about how you feel in regards to that goal out of 10. So let's say I have a goal of trying to be more productive. How do I feel right now in terms of my productivity? Maybe I feel like a 4 out of 10. Okay, great. There's your measurement. Now, as you try new ways of being productive, check in. How do you feel now? That's one of the more simple and easy ways to introduce a measurement into a goal, is just by giving yourself a rating. Next, the author mentions something that I so believe in and advocate for, is actually sitting down and understanding what your goals are. Where do you want to focus your action, your attitude, your attention? Where do you want this all to be directed towards? It's really hard to do small, smart choices and it actually doesn't go anywhere or you don't know where it's going. So, one of the key first steps is actually identifying your goal or identifying what you want to work towards. And I do have a video that relates to this, and also you can reach out to me below. I am a coach And the first session that I have with you will be free of charge, and it is a goal setting session. So even though it's free of charge, by the end of the session, you will have 3 goals and you will know what you want to work towards. So I think that's really useful. Just discovering what you want your goals to be is a huge first step. And the author emphasizes this by saying, and I'm going to read it because I think it's so spot on. You cannot see what you don't look for, and you cannot look for what you don't believe in. If you don't know what to look for, you certainly won't get it. And this is so true, because if you don't think about your goals and what you want to achieve, your focus is just going to be everywhere. It's so hard to tune in and to direct your attention somewhere if you don't have some sort of scope as to where or what you're working towards. And it's not magic, it really is the power of focus, because when you decide on goals, especially if you write them down, you really allow your brain to have something to zone in on and focus on. And once your brain does that, you suddenly are more attuned to certain conversations that might mention your goal. You maybe see things, signs, I don't know, adverts that relate to your goal that maybe you didn't before. And maybe you're more open to having conversations with people who may offer you some insights on your goal. And these are all just simple ways that your brain will work for you in becoming more focused and more aware of what your goal actually is. So get clear on what you want, because you're not going to be able to achieve anything that you're not aware of. And once you are aware of it, it's just more accessible to you, and the small, smart choices become more obvious. Another aspect of this is that it's usually really hard just to start, to take that first step. But once you do, you really start to make progress, and the steps start to reveal themselves, and you start to solve any possible problems that might crop up. And just as it's hard to start something when you weren't doing anything, it's hard to stop something once it's in motion. So taking that first step, and I encourage you to make it easy, and you start putting it in motion, it's really amazing, because you just start doing things and you put things into action, and it's just harder to stop something that's already started. Something else that the author says that I really like and that I found interesting is that he finds that helping others is a really crucial part of him achieving success. And he expands on this by saying, whatever I want in life, I've found that the best way to get it is to focus my energy on giving to others. So, for example, he said if he wants to boost his confidence, he tries to find ways to make others feel more confident. I think one of the easier ways to view this is, for example, if you want to learn something, one of the best ways to learn something is actually to teach it to others. And I think that's a really great way of understanding this concept. It's not about giving because you ultimately want to receive. It's just that in giving to others, you create this really great reciprocal relationship. And so, in a way, I'm doing this too. I learn really helpful self development concepts. That's what I want to do by reading these books. And I'm also giving by sharing it with others. At the same time, I'm further ingraining it in my own mind. So, it's helpful for all of us. I think it's also just useful to really practice what you preach in a way. So if you are really looking for love, give love. If you're really looking to be appreciated, appreciate others. A great way to sum this up is give out what you're seeking and see how your success or joy multiplies. So this book is all about habits and building successful habits so that you become successful. The author does want to caution, however, that achieving extraordinary things doesn't necessarily mean you'll reach the same levels of happiness or joy. And that's also really dependent on the kind of goals you set and the roots from where they come. And so a really important part of this is understanding your values. If your values align with your goals and your actions, you'll feel very fulfilled, and it's very likely that any success you get will make you feel happy and fulfilled and give you a sense of enjoyment. However, if your goals are not aligned with your values, that means your actions won't be aligned with your values, and you will likely not feel that fulfilled even if you do achieve your goals. And so this is also why I really like my goal discovery session. is because they're definitely aligned with your values. And it's so not about the people around you and the pressures around you. It's about you as a person and what matters to you and what that might manifest as in goals and actions. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I really enjoyed this book. I think that it gives a premise that I really believe in, and in fact I have a poster right above my desk right now that says, little by little, a little becomes a lot. And I think that really is also a great way to describe this book. Is it's not about being the best or doing the best all the time. It's just about being consistent and doing the small habits that over time add up. And in that way, that contributes to a really fulfilling life, provided the things you're working towards are aligned with your truest self and your values. So I like this. I think it's simple enough to understand, and I think it also just shows that at the end of the day, it matters how committed you are to your goals, your success, and yourself. So leave any comments down below, any questions, or anything you want to add, and I'd be really excited to connect with you.